Peace, y'all. Before we get started, I felt compelled to remind everyone to stay safe and stay abreast of all the atrocities happening around the world. The people of Palestine, Tigray, Congo, Sudan, Haiti, and countless other territories are currently fighting for their rights and their lives. And if you're choosing to take action, please take every precaution you can. Stay hydrated, stay in groups, cover your face, and please, more than anything, don't lose hope. I've been leaving links to organizations and resources at the bottom of every episode description for a good minute, so please go check those out for places to donate and to find ways to take action today. We're not free until all oppressed people in the States and abroad are free. Much love, stay strong. Now let's keep this shit moving. What's good, y'all? My name is Dylan Green, and this is Real Notes, a space dedicated to blurring the cultural and artistic lines between rap and film. I'm here to chop it up with everyone from rappers and producers to journalists and video directors about their relationship to movies and how, if at all, film inspires their craft. My guest this week is New York via Chicago producer and DJ Rude. We spoke about Megalopolis, the works of David Cronenberg and Willem Dafoe, our love for Metrograph and the movie theater experience generally, his extensive history as a DJ and producer, embracing a slow production process, working a day job and making music for the passion, and the creative process behind his latest album, Upper Space. Come fuck with us. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to Real Notes. End of the week. Y'all aren't going to be hearing this for like... what's today, the 15th? Y'all aren't going to be hearing this until like early December, so peace from the past. My name is Dylan Green, CineMasai. Got a lot of names, do a lot of shit outside, inside, all sides. Y'all can't see it, but my guest today has this incredible piece of art with two robot chicken Skeletor looking things behind him right now. So like that's kind of catching my eye. But man, I don't even know how to put this person's career into words. Man's a producer, he's a DJ, he knows everyone. He has pictures with all your favorite rappers, all your favorite producers, all your favorite icons. He's worked with everybody. He's got stories and has been making music and is back giving us more music after he was gone for an extended period of time, and then now he's put out 3 projects in 8 years. We got fucking DJ Rude One. DJ Rude One is in the fucking house today. Upper Space is out and available everywhere now, courtesy of the good people at Closed Sessions. Shout out to Alex, RTC. We love you. Brother, Rude One, thank you so much for being here, man.
Yo,
honestly.
Thank you for having me, man. And what an intro.
I try,
I'm listening like, wait, am I next week? Because he might be talking about somebody else.
Nah, man. You're a legend out here, man. It's like we were saying off camera. We didn't meet, but we were in the same vicinity when I first went to. My first trip to Chicago was in 2022. I was out there for the festival for that the website I used to work at. You might have heard of it. It's called Pitchfork. And Alex RTC had invited me out to his legend conversation with Alchemist. I got my hat from that night around here somewhere. I can't find it. But Rude One DJ'd, and we somehow didn't get to meet until just 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. Fast friends though, man.
Yeah, man. I can already tell this is gonna be a fast friendship. But brother, let me ask you the first question I ask everybody who comes on here, which is what was the last movie or TV show you watched that you had a strong opinion about?
Megalopolis.
I still haven't seen it. Tell me how you felt, because I've talked to like 8 people about this shit and everyone's got a different opinion. Like, please.
So I just saw it like 2 nights ago, and I guess I know what happened, but I don't really feel like I know what happened. And I'm a big Coppola fan. Like, aside from like Apocalypse Now and like Godfather and everything, The Conversation is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Wow.
And this year was like the 50-year anniversary for that. And so they did like a special re-release at IFC that I went to. And everything I'd read about Megalopolis was pretty terrible. And like the clips that I'd seen people sharing on Twitter were like, what the fuck is this? So yeah, I have a strong opinion in that, like, I really don't know what the fuck hit me. I I don't know. That's like the best I could do. Like I can't tell you I hated it. I can't tell you I loved it. I really don't know what the fuck happened.
See, that type of like try to describe it for me because like I have like an idea of what the shit's about, but like I haven't seen it. I haven't watched any trailers. I just know that it's Coppola and people are asking questions during the movie or something. Please break this down for me.
I told a friend like I feel like I got like punched in the face with an Ayn Rand novel, like the Fountain, man. Because like really, like I don't know. I heard stories about the premise, but I didn't want to read about the premise. I didn't want to know what was going on in there. And like Adam Driver is like referred to as like Caesar throughout it, and there's like this sort of like New York, Rome empire kind of thing happening. But he's also this like architect that's building like this megalopolis city. And yeah, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know. To tell you what, like describe it for you. Yeah, bro. I'm running on E, man. Honestly. Yeah, I really don't know what the fuck to make of it, man. Seriously. Like I can tell you like play by play, like this happened, and this happened, and this happened, but I don't know what it meant, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So based off of that description, I might have mentioned this a while ago on an earlier episode, but it like I remember when I saw Inherent Vice, Paul Thomas Anderson's adaptation of the book, and I made it about 25 minutes in before I fell asleep. Not because I thought it was bad. I was like dead tired that day. I was coming from somewhere. I don't remember like, but I remember just being like, I was beat. I don't know what it was, but like so I fell asleep maybe like after about 25 minutes, and I woke up with like 20 minutes to go. And having read the book and being a fan of Paul Thomas Anderson, and I don't know that I say I'm a fan of Pynchon, but like the book's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like knowing what it was, I was like, I probably got as much from only seeing the front and back 20 minutes as I would have gotten from seeing the whole movie.
Yeah,
you know,
I heard you say that on the Rich Jones episode.
Yeah, shout out to Rich, man.
Yeah, shout out to Rich. Shout out to Rich. But I have to agree with him, man. Like if you like Martin Short, you have to see Martin Short. Like,
yeah,
I understand what you're saying. You did get the gist of it, but there's a lot more guts to it than that. I felt like, yeah. I like that movie a lot.
Yeah, I just like, and like once again, like I gotta stress, like it wasn't because like I was bored or uninterested. I was just like really fucking tired.
Yeah.
But I say that to say that it sounds kind of like the like just kind of like the sort of head trip, like what did I just watch? This wouldn't have made like it almost felt like it made more sense seeing less of it. You know, like that's kind of what Megalopolis sounds like to me.
So yeah. Whereas I feel like Inherent Vice, you should definitely go back and watch that the middle section for sure.
Right.
Megalopolis, I wouldn't tell you to go do that. I don't think.
That's hilarious. I have so like a couple of my like really good homies. Like I have one who loved it, who won't shut the fuck up about it. Like best movie I've seen this year, maybe top 5 of the decade. Like it's like that type of person. And then it's like, this is awful. This is like so confusing, so weird. I don't know what it means. Why is it this long? Like I haven't talked to anybody who's been like in the middle where it's like, oh, it's all right.
Can
like,
I ask it's your friend that loved it?
Yeah.
Was there like one standing like remark that you remember, like what he loved about it?
Oh man, I'm trying to pull, but I wish I could remember. I'm so mad about it. I don't want to put him on blast or
no. Yeah. I would just like to have like a
I'm recording.
I would just love to hear like an opinion, like that somebody that saw it that like loved it, what they had to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really wish I could remember what he said. Maybe it'll come back to me later, or I'll like go look for a text while you're answering another question. But but okay, so I'm curious, where did you, because it's been out of theaters for a while, where did you see it?
Angelica, the Village East on
Cool. Oh, I forgot you're in New York. You're not in Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's showing like at like 10 o'clock every day. So I went, there was only like 4 other people in the movie theater, which I love. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I usually go to the movies by myself, and
Yeah.
I'm still one of those people that likes going to the theater.
Yeah.
I've got like memberships to like Metrograph and Film Forum and everything, and yeah, I probably, let's see, I keep like a running tab because I'll be the guy that like you said, like you heard that I'm like a film buff and everything, like, but I'm also that dude where I'll be talking to somebody and they'll be describing a movie. I'm like, oh, that sounds rad. And they're like, bro, we saw this together. I'm like, oh, and then they describe it. I'm like, yeah, but I'm bad with like titles. So I started keeping like a running like Google Doc of like all the movies that I see, where I saw it, whether or not I was on drugs or not, what drug I was on, you know, like different shroom strains and things like that. So tonight I'm gonna go see The Killing Zone at IFC at midnight.
Hard. Oh man.
Yeah.
Cause I know me and another homie were talking about going to see I think they're playing Ichi the Killer at IFC tonight, and I'm thinking about maybe going. I don't know if I have time.
Okay.
Because I got something else going on tomorrow. But like, have you seen The Killing Zone before? Because I haven't seen The Killing Zone before.
I haven't seen it. No, I've seen clips of it, but I'm a big Cronenberg fan. Like Videodrome is one of my favorite movies of all time. And
yeah,
Rabid was really good too, but no, I haven't seen this one.
I love, or I don't want to say I love, because love is a strong word, but I love The Brood. Or once again, The Brood is really, really good.
Yeah,
it's one I haven't seen The Brood in like 10 years. I saw it in college, but I took a whole class on Cronenberg, so like we watched like pretty much everything. I think we watched everything except we didn't watch The Fly for some reason. Like of all the movies to watch, I don't know why we didn't watch The Fly, but like Videodrome's a favorite. I love Scanners. Scanners is maybe one of my favorite movies of all time. That shit is amazing.
Have you read his novel?
No, I haven't.
He wrote like a novel, like a fiction, like a novel, like 10 years ago, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. What about?
It was about this shit. I can't remember the name of it. See, here I go again. I can't remember the name of it. I'm gonna loan it to you.
Cool.
Yeah. I've got it on the shelf. I'm gonna loan it to you. I loaned it to a friend, the guy that owns Big Bar in East Village. He fucking loved it too. He's a big film buff.
That's yeah, because you're playing at Big Bar tonight, which I mean, like obviously
last night.
It was last night.
Yeah, last night. No, it's all good. It's all good. Some guys I know do like have been doing like Thursday nights there for like 10 years, and so I just drop it once in a while and play with them. So
that's beautiful. Yeah. So I don't want to skate over the fact that you were talking about like keeping a list of all the stuff that you've seen. That's what I use Letterboxd for. Like that's like that was I mean, like outside of like being able to like see what your friends are watching and all that shit, like I like of course, like as the movie people, it's like, oh, what was the last thing you saw? It's always that. It's like I always have I have not only a running list of like I log everything I watch, and then I have like I have like a list of like, it's got to be like 60, 70, 80, 90 deep of like, I gotta watch this. Somebody will tell me like, okay, I'm gonna put that on my watch list, and like you know, like just as a way to hold myself accountable. It's going to take me a minute to sign into this, but so what was the last thing you saw at Metrograph?
Last thing I saw at Metrograph. Hang on, I'm going to go to my document really quick.
Because
last thing I saw at Metrograph was The Master. Yeah.
How recently?
That was in March.
Oh, they did it this year. Damn.
Yeah. May. It was on my birthday, May 13th. That's my birthday.
Oh,
I took myself to The Master, and I saw Lahane there in March.
Wow. So like The Master and Lahane were around the same time?
Yeah, like 2 months apart. Yeah.
Wow. I mean like, so I saw The Master when it came out. I saw it when it came out in theaters. Amazing movie. I've seen Lahane, never seen it on a big screen. So hearing that happen is like,
on a big screen.
Wow. And like how was it on the big screen?
It was dope. It was dope. It was so good. Yeah. They had like front row of the balcony. Yeah. It was dope. Yeah.
Wow. I saw was it Metrograph we went to? I think I saw Holy Mountain at Metrograph earlier this year.
Okay.
Or was it Metrograph? I'm pretty sure it was Metrograph. Yeah, no, like wherever it was, I saw Holy Mountain on the big screen for the first time, and
Okay.
like I can't say enough great things about the Holy Mountain.
Yeah.
Like once again the type of movie where it's like I don't know if I loved it or hated it, but it's like it's an experience, and it's one of my favorite things to watch. Like it just you can you can watch that movie in any type of mood. You can watch it on drugs, off of drugs, like you're gonna get something from the Holy Mountain,
Yeah.
regardless of what state of mind you're in.
I
Like,
haven't.
wow.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. No, I got it. Yep. Thank
Yeah,
you.
nah, like that's like I can't even describe what Holy Mountain is about. It's like just go see it.
Yep.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Cool. Cool. Thank you.
Like you're no doubt.
Got it.
But yeah, so I have so this seems low, but I've only seen 103 movies this year, old and new. But like like Letterboxd will like keep track of like how many movies you see in a year. You can rate them, review them, comment on them. It's like I'm not trying to do an ad for Letterboxd unless y'all want to pay me. But like
That's
but
crazy to me. I've only been to 12 movies this year. I don't keep track of like anything that I watch like on like TV or anything like that. I don't have a TV. I've got like we have like a projector and like Roku. But
yeah.
I barely watch movies on that. So like I just go to the theaters. But I've seen 12 movies this year, which is low for me.
Yeah, no, I respect the fact that you mostly save movie watching for the theater, because yeah, like I have like you were talking about with like all the subscriptions, like I have AMC and Alamo. Like I'm going to the theater. Like
Yeah.
I love the experience. I love being around people, not being around people. I just saw The Lighthouse at the AMC at Lincoln Square 2 days ago,
Wow.
because they brought it back for its 5th anniversary for like a one night only IMAX screening. The only issue is that like I assume you've been to the IMAX.
Yeah.
So like for anybody who doesn't know, it's one of if not the biggest IMAX screen in the whole world. Like definitely the country, but maybe the world. It's like 96 feet tall or 75 feet tall or some crazy shit like that. And like the movie wasn't formatted for IMAX, so it didn't utilize the whole screen. It utilized maybe like 70% of the screen. And then there's just like a big black ring or like a big black box around the rest of it, which like was a little disappointing, but the movie still looked great on the big screen. It was worth it, but like you could tell it wasn't formatted for IMAX, because it was just kind of like, yeah, just like a box.
Yeah, that would be a weird one I would imagine to see on IMAX, just because like it feels like so staid. Like I loved that movie. I saw it when it came out.
Yeah.
It's just hard to imagine like the benefit of like seeing it on like that big ass screen or anything.
I really think it's like the cinematography is like, it's obviously in black and white, but it's so like the cinematography is so detailed. Like you can see like the wrinkles and just like the wrinkles in the dirt in Willem Dafoe's face. And like the two scenes I always walk out being blown away by are the monologue that he gives where he's like talking about like Neptune, and the bit where it's like I don't know how to describe it other than that, but the one where he's just like staring into the camera. He doesn't blink for like 45 seconds. It's wild.
Yeah.
So like that. So like they're like him and Pattinson's two monologues in there are just like insane. And of course, like there's a bunch of really cool surrealist imagery in it. Like it was cool to see it get blown up on a big screen.
Okay.
Like,
all right. Yeah.
On like the biggest screen.
Yeah.
The only issue is it not being not utilizing the whole thing, but like it was amazing. And like I had seen it before, but it was nice for that to be the first time seeing it on a big screen, you know.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. What's your favorite Willem Dafoe movie?
Damn. I mean, I'm not gonna cheat, but that would be one of them.
Yeah.
Like it took me rewatching it again on the big screen to be like, oh, this is maybe one of my favorite movies ever. It's kind of incredible. But if I had to pick my favorite Dafoe movie, I'm gonna go classic and just say him as Green Goblin and Spider-Man.
Okay.
You know, like there's so many others I could pick, but like even just seeing The Lighthouse again recently, just to me, like his Green Goblin is so iconic. He's creepy, but like super charismatic. He's got this like Wicked Witch of the West costume thing going on with the emerald green,
Yeah.
and just doing the whole like duality of man shit. Like, I don't know, man. It's that was something that really captivated me as a kid, and going back and rewatching the first Spider-Man is like that's one of my favorite villain roles in any movie ever. So I'm gonna keep it light and go with
Okay.
that.
All right. All right.
What about you?
To Live and Die in LA.
That's such a great choice.
Rick
Damn.
Mathers. Like, yo. Um, yeah, I love that. I almost, there was a Wang Chung did the soundtrack for that.
Yeah.
And originally, we were gonna flip that cover for the Stove God Cook single I dropped from Upper Space.
Wow.
Yeah, but like, so it's got like the desert like along the bottom, and it's kind of got like this this weird like thermal effect on it. We were trying to like do the Chicago skyline instead, but it just couldn't get it to look right. So, but I love that fucking movie. Yeah.
When did you first see it?
In the 80s. And then like when it dropped. I'm showing my age here, but yeah, I saw it. I saw it. Well, it had been out for a few years, but yeah, right. I think it was 80. It came out like 84, 85. I think I saw it shortly thereafter. Because back then, like if you had HBO, they would just show like R-rated movies all day. Like you'd see like Full Frontal Nudity and like,
Right.
Last American Virgin, Beach Girls and stuff. Like my mom would be at work and I'd be watching all this shit. So
I'm a pull another one because I'm looking through his filmography. Okay. I love Mississippi Burning a lot.
Oh yeah. I forgot.
Like, and it's crazy because he doesn't have the showy role in Mississippi Burning. Like Gene Hackman has like the big, like like he's got like the big showy role, but Willem Dafoe is like
with the glasses.
Like once, with the glasses, he's prim and proper. Like my favorite scene in that whole movie is when Hackman he's at the racist cop in the barber chair, and he starts fucking him up, and like Willem Dafoe has to get all the agents out, and like see, like Dafoe is so crazy because he can play the straight man in the horn rimmed glasses and like do that, but he can also just completely chew the scenery in something like The Lighthouse or like Spider-Man or I'm just trying to pull some more. Like I forgot he was in Existence talking about Cronenberg, like he was.
Sorry, what was the movie he did early 2000s about was his name Bob Crane, Hogan from Hogan's Heroes?
Oh shit.
That they were like he had like that porn addiction, and Willem Dafoe was like his
autofocus.
Was that it?
Yeah, I think it was autofocus.
Yeah. He was really good in that too. Like being like, the 80s, like leather pants, leather jacket, like VHS salesman, like, and then like getting dudes strung out and like filming him, like, sleeping with all those chicks. And yeah, it was.
I don't see that's a movie. I don't really remember as much of that as I feel like I should, but I've definitely seen autofocus.
Yeah.
But like
yeah,
man. Dafoe is like, I don't. Oh, you know what? One more time, Antichrist. He's so good in Antichrist.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Like
they were playing that at Metrograph earlier this year, and I couldn't get over there. I really wanted to. I haven't seen it since it came out. I want to see it again.
So I had a homie that I grew up with who was like really into the Criterion Collection when it first came out, and he showed me and all our friends Antichrist. And that's like how I first saw it, and that's like it was a head bust for me, like insane type of like I was like, oh, like you can make this type of like like it really, that was I can't imagine watching that movie with people ever again. As cool, as dope as it would be to watch that at Metrograph, I'm not watching that with people. I'll watch it with like one person. Like that's a movie I watch by myself.
That's yeah. I feel you.
Oh man, yeah, no, Von Trier is a whole other conversation. But wow. Okay, so I know I'm gonna love this answer. Let's go all the way back with you. What's the first movie experience you can remember having? It could be at the theater, it could be at your cousin's house. Like the first thing that comes to mind for you.
I remember I obviously saw the first Star Wars, but for some reason, the first time I remember going to the theater was Empire Strikes Back.
Mm-hmm.
Came out. That said, I don't remember very much about it, but whenever I think of like a movie theater and like I always go back to like that experience. But actually like sitting with a movie and like really having like it means something to me. I remember the first time I saw The Shining. I was by myself in the dark, and when those twin girls appear on screen, like that changed everything for me. And I think like I was like I think I was like 13 or 14 when I finally saw it, but like I turned the lights on. I was completely broke out over that. Like I'm like looking for these girls everywhere in like the house,
right?
By myself. But and then that movie, I would, if you were to ask me like what my favorite movie of all time, it might be The Shining. So like I think that's like the indelible movie experience for me. It was like running lights on as like, and yeah, I'm like a fucking teen. I'm like 13 or something, but I'm like, yo, what the hell? Like, those girls just, yeah. And
Yeah.
I still see that movie like anytime I get a chance to when it's playing on the big screen. If it's IFC, Metrograph, I will still go. I'll go see it like 2-3 times a year. I feel like I always get something new out of it that I never noticed before.
Wow. That's so special. Like, I can't remember the first time I saw The Shining, but it's I have a lot of feelings about Kubrick as a director. I don't love all his movies, but I think The Shining's great. I like just like in terms of just like foreboding, weird, surreal atmosphere. Like there's like I can't think of many movies that like do it as like I don't know. And then on top of that, just like the imagery, like the rug, the blood coming out the elevator, the goddamn the girl.
Yeah.
No, what?
The dude with the fucking bunny head and like
the bunny head, the ghost bartender, fucking like just like it's crazy because I could probably count the amount of times I've seen it on one hand, but I can't count the amount of times I've seen the Simpsons parody of it in the Treehouse of Horror. I watch that shit every year because I always do like a marathon of all the Treehouse of Horrors every Halloween, and like I've seen that Simpsons one like I'm like where Willie can read Bart's mind and Homer goes crazy and like he did yeah like that and then I saw Dr. Sleep for the first time like 2-3 years ago, which I wasn't expecting to like it too much because like I felt weird about the book when it came out, but like Dr. Sleep was crazy. It's not as good. Nothing's as good as The Shining.
Yeah.
Like The Shining is its own movie, but like me and my lady watched it and I'm about to put Desiree on blast. I'm sorry. Desiree does not like The Shining. We talk about this all the time. Desiree hates it. It's so funny. But we both love Dr. Sleep. We thought Dr. Sleep was great.
Okay. I didn't see Dr. Sleep.
I was it's if you can find it, it's definitely worth checking out. Once again, it's not The Shining. It's a little more stylized and a little more like there's more special effects involved, but like it's still kind of trying to go for the same atmosphere. And of course, like do you like know what Dr. Sleep is about?
No, refresh my memory. I remember like reading about it when it came out, but I don't.
So Dr. Sleep is about the kid from The Shining. He uses he uses The Shining. He goes to work at a psychiatric facility and he becomes known as Dr. Sleep because he's able to use The Shining to make the patients go to sleep when they're like they'll send like the wildest ones to him who they can't control, and he uses The Shining to put them to sleep. So they call him Dr. Sleep.
Danny Torrance.
And yeah.
Okay. Oh wow.
So, So it's like a years later sequel to The Shining.
Okay.
And like stuff happens, shenanigans ensue. I won't spoil. Like go watch if you like The Shining, go watch Doctor Sleep.
Okay.
I'll be really interested in your thoughts.
Okay.
But yeah,
I remember when it came out, I was just kind of like afraid of it. You know what I mean? Like just I saw like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, one of my favorite movies too. But every remake of it, just like I can't do this anymore. Like it's terrible. It's just yeah.
Like I'm like, how many Texas Chainsaw remakes we got now? Like, because it's funny. The first time I ever saw Texas Chainsaw was the whatever 2000 remake, the one with Jessica Biel. Like that was my first experience with Texas Chainsaw.
All right.
Because I was like 14, 15.
Uh-huh.
Of course I've seen once again the originals. Like that's a perfect movie. Like Texas Chainsaw is incredible.
Yeah.
But like I have a as a child of the 90s and the 2000s, I got a soft spot for like all the like the Texas Chainsaw remake, the House of Wax remake with Paris Hilton, Freddy versus Jason, you know, like all these kind of like all these like retreads of retreads. Like that was my childhood. So like I just rewatched Freddy versus Jason for Halloween too. I love that movie. The movie is so much fun. Awesome. But nothing will ever beat like, you know, like the original Texas Chainsaw is a perfect movie. Yeah. I've never seen the original House of Wax, but like just that.
I haven't either.
It's but yeah, like not to get too far off track, but yeah, like The Shining is just like not. How do I even put this into words? It's hard to put into words what's so great about it, and like even if you don't like it, it's like you said before, like you had a reaction. Like people who there's nobody who watches The Shining and is like, it was all right, it was whatever. It's always like, I love it, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen, or this is a piece of shit and I'm gonna tell you you know, like it's like it inspires conversation and debate, and to me that's always going to be better than something that's like, it was all right, it was whatever, you know.
I know you said you have strong opinions about Kubrick. Like do you have a favorite Kubrick movie?
So I'm trying to think of. I'm trying to. We got The Shining. We got 2001. We got Eyes Wide Shut. We got. Okay. I'm gonna go. Strange Love. Strange Love is my favorite.
Okay.
Strange Love is my favorite. Once again, saw it in college. You know, like I love me a good satire. I love, you know, like or like there was a period of time where I loved Peter Sellers. But like he's incredible in it. I love like maybe one of my favorite ending shots in a movie ever with the guy riding the fucking bomb, and just incredible. Just such a, like the first time I went to the Alamo Draft House was the one in Yonkers when they opened it, and they have a replica of the bomb, and you can like jump on it and wave the hat and take a picture. I got a picture somewhere.
Oh shit.
But yeah, so if I had to pick one, like I would say either Strange Love or maybe Clockwork Orange.
Okay.
You know, like, okay. Yeah, like, yeah. But I think for the sake of being a little deeper, I'm gonna say Strange Love.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. Cool.
What about? Well, I mean, I want to ask, but I mean, like, I feel like The Shining is yours.
This Shining, and then it's probably a tie between 2001 and Eyes Wide Shut. Eyes Wide Shut's like my favorite Christmas movie. Yo,
Eyes Wide Shut is a Christmas movie. That's so funny.
Funny story though, yo. When it opened in theaters, I was with two friends we were in Cincinnati, Ohio for Scribble Jam. And I think it came out in 99. We were in Cincinnati, Ohio. We went to opening night they have like a little indie theater near the University of Cincinnati, called the Esquire Theater. Really good, really great theater, really good programming. And when the movie was over, people were booing. Never forget that. And like me and my two friends, like we loved it. We were like, fuck yeah. And then like the room just like erupted in like boos and shit. It was wild. Yeah. This is the first time I've experienced that.
Wow. I mean, like, I haven't met anybody who doesn't like who's seen it who doesn't like it. But once again, like I think you could just say that about every Kubrick movie. Mm-hmm. Like it's like you could definitely say it about A Clockwork Orange and like 2001. I know way more people who hate 2001 than love it, just because of like,
wow,
I'm not one of those people, but I get it because it's very slow. It's like it's super. It's like it. You got to be in the mood to watch it. Like not everybody's always in that mood. It's like most people would look at that and be like, oh, it's a screensaver, you know, like, and that's, I'm like, I get it, but it's like all of his movies are kind of like challenging in that way. Like none of them are really what I'd call conventional. Like,
no.
you know, like Strangelove isn't, 2001 isn't, Clockwork Orange definitely isn't.
No.
You
that
know, like
used to be my favorite one, but like I've gone back a few times and watched it, and it now it feels like it's just that's a little slow and a little long for me.
Yeah, I haven't gone back to it in a while, but you know, like I would have to go back through his whole discography because I know there's a couple that I'm like, I didn't like this. But
you never saw Barry, is it Barry Lyndon?
I've never seen Barry Lyndon. That's one of the only ones I haven't seen.
Yeah.
Yo, my fault. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to shout out the all new Real Notes Patreon page real quick. If you're looking for ways to connect and directly support the podcast, the Real Notes Patreon is the best way to do so. For as little as $5 a month, you can gain early day before access to every forthcoming episode of Real Notes, as well as an invite to the Real Notes Discord server, where you can talk to others about the latest and greatest in movies and music, come through for some listening sessions, and talk about whatever else is on your mind. I know I'm gonna be talking a bunch. If you feel like coming up off a little bit more, you could get cool exclusive content like audio from Real Notes Live and Real Talk interviews. Those will be exclusive to patrons and ticket holders moving forward. Access to retro versions of my 60-second Minute Maid movie reviews, and even a monthly writing and podcasting workshop hosted by me. Regular episodes will still be available on a weekly basis anywhere you get your podcasts, but if you want the extras, you gotta come out them pockets a bit. Check us out at patreon.com/realnotes. That's REELNOTES. I appreciate your consideration and support more than you know. Now let's get back to talking.
Same.
I was watching some I forget who the interview was with, but once again, Letterboxd, they do like their whole thing is like they'll interview people and be like 4 favorite movies. And like I think I saw like 5 or 6 in a row with celebrities who like named Barry Lyndon as one of their favorite movies ever. And I was like, wow. Like I've never seen it, so I can't like, but because it was that, and then I also got it mixed up with I always used to get it mixed up with what's the Coen Brothers movie with John Turturro? It's just like his name. Like they wrote it. It'll come back to me, but it's John Turturro. John Goodman's in it. Barton Fink. Fink. That's it.
Yeah.
So like there was a period of time where I used to get Barton Fink and Barry Lyndon mixed up, but just because of the names. But I've never. But Barry Lyndon's another one that I need to go see. But
Same.
Yeah, you know, Kubrick's a lot. He's made some of the most important movies ever, but he's also a lot. He demanded a lot from people, and you know, like I think about it's always complicated thinking about The Shining because of everything that happened with I can't remember her name. I'm blanking on her name. Yeah, everything that happened with Shelley Duvall was really fucked up.
Yeah,
and I feel terrible about it, but that's an incredible movie. Like it's just. I don't know. It's a tough one to sit with sometimes because of that.
Good
But it's a great movie, you know, like it's just one of those unfortunately two things can be true. It's you know, difficult's the word, but like yeah, like he's somebody that like one day I'm gonna do the whole I'm just gonna marathon a bunch of them, do it front to back. But there was something else. I feel like there was something else like I almost said Cronenberg, Kubrick related. Maybe it'll come back to me. But I know you already mentioned like a movie that kind of you kind of beat me to my next question, which is going to be like I like to think of this as a capital M movie. Like you're like one of the earliest that you watched that really struck you in a like. That connected with you in like an emotional or artistic or spiritual, just like something that really was like, this is a movie, you know, like more than just like 90 minutes of entertainment, like something that really just was like, had you locked in, you know?
Seven Samurai.
Good choice.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
a film class in high school. It was called like media studies, but this was like my sophomore year of high school, and I'm so thankful for this class. Like, it taught us. We watched The Seven Samurai. We saw Godfather 2, Lawrence of Arabia, Citizen Kane,
All the classics. Yeah.
Cabaret. Yeah. And I was like 14 or 15 seeing all these for the first time. And like, I don't know that I would have had that exposure otherwise. Like eventually, sure, but like that kind of like set the tone for me and like made me like I actually messaged like the teacher of that class like earlier this year on like Facebook.
Wow.
I found him just to say like thanks because I went and saw Seven Samurai at Film Forum of like over the summer. And I'd never seen it on a big screen before. I'd only seen it like watching like VHS or DVDs. But yeah, that's probably the movie that was like, fuck, man.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't remember the first time I saw it, but I have the Criterion DVD in my closet, and it's prized possession. Kurosawa's one of one, man. He really set the template for everybody. Like I can't tell you how many times like Seven Samurai has been remade like 80 million times. Like and not even like or like not 80 million times, but like you have like what's the Western the one that was the Magnificent Seven. Like that's a like like that's a remake of Seven Samurai. And like the Magnificent Seven's been remade a bunch of times, including once recently with Denzel, and like that movie just set like I'm like A Bug's Life. Like that movie is Seven Samurai with bugs. Like it's like that template. Like that's a timeless movie. Timeless movie, timeless concept. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
Even but all of that considered, I think my favorite Kurosawa movie has to be Rashomon. Because Rashomon is the one that really like I watched it and was just like, I want to make a movie like this one. Like I love the whole like I love any sort of subversion or like warping or reinterpretation of just like a story, and like that's the classic, like, here's one story told from 3 different perspectives. Like the first time I saw it, I was just like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, who thought of this? Like, like, I was just like, they broke the mold with this dude. Like,
I feel you. Like Seven Samurai was like my portal into that, into looking into like seeing more Kurosawa, and I saw Ran and like learned about Mifune and things like that. Just from like that was the movie that made me dig deeper versus just like, oh, the movie's over, let's watch another movie. This was like, wait a minute, like we talk about like hip hop and stuff. Like I'd find a record that somebody made, and then like I try to find other things that they produced.
Yeah.
This was the movie that did that for me. This made me look elsewhere versus just like looking at it as like, okay, this is a film, it's over, it was cool, let's watch another film. It was like, wait a minute, hold on, wait, I gotta know more.
Oof, that's such a good way to put it too. Like like the one that'll just send you down the rabbit hole until you're like 6 or 7 nodes deep into like somebody else's filmography. Like it's
exactly.
No, he's definitely one of those, because I saw Rashomon in a I was a cinema studies major in college, and like they showed us Rashomon, and that's where I first seen it. But like I had already like Kurosawa was somebody I knew about for some reason, but like I had never gotten the chance to like sit down and watch his shit. But like he was definitely one of those for me when I first did it. Like there's a couple others, but I'm blanking on them right now. It doesn't matter. I think, but I love the fact that you made that comparison to like sifting through producers, because now we get to do the other shit. When did music become capital M music for you? Like not even in terms of you wanting to make it, but you put it perfectly. Like what sent you down the rabbit hole?
Kiss.
Explain.
Like my introduction to Kiss in like the 80s, the big stage show, the makeup, all of the I guess the term now would be merch, like all of their marketing, and like they were just bigger than life. So it started with that. And yeah, I remember like the first record I ever got on vinyl was the first Kiss album. It's just called Kiss on like Casablanca Records, which was, it's like a disco label, but Kiss was on there. And you know, they later made disco records, but yeah, it started with Kiss and like the big production of everything. And remember they had a made for TV movie too, Kiss versus Phantom of the Theme Park. Have you
I've never seen it. I know they no, tell me about it.
Yeah, they were like performing it. I haven't seen it in like 20 years. But like they performed it like this theme park, but the guy that ran the theme park was like setting all these rides up so that they would crash and people would get hurt, and some girl got stranded, and then like Kiss saves the day, you know.
Scooby-Doo type shit, yeah.
Scooby-Doo type shit, yeah, because it was like on like ABC, and you know there was like commercials and shit. But
it was animated too, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I had that VHS somewhere, but yeah.
Because I know Kiss has done like a bunch of specials like that. I think, or maybe not a bunch, but like a handful. Like I think my first experience with, I haven't seen any of them firsthand, but there's like an early episode of Family Guy where they like make fun of that, where they have like Peter Griffin's a huge Kiss fan, and he like every Christmas he has to watch like Kiss Saves Santa or whatever the fuck. Like they like make a special where like it's animated. Kiss has to like Kiss and Santa Claus link up for some reason, and it ends with them like having to like pull him up from a cliff. So like that introduced me to the idea that Kiss was big enough to warrant having a holiday special. But then I went and but then I went and looked and was like, oh, so they've actually done a bunch of these, and they weren't just it wasn't just an idea somebody had. Like
yeah. I remember reading the Gene Simmons like biography or autobiography, and he was basically like, there was nothing I wouldn't sell, nothing I wouldn't do. They're like Kiss toilet paper, Kiss moon boots, Kiss lunch boxes. Like,
yeah. I mean, like, I'm gonna be honest, I can maybe name like 2 Kiss songs, but they're like the image of Kiss is just like, it's, I don't like to use the word lightly. It's iconic. Like they're iconic. I was in Boston back in September, covering something, and I was at the Paradise Rock Club in Boston.
Okay.
And in the green room, there's 4 outlets, and all the outlets were colored up like Kiss. Like all like it was because it's Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Ace Frehley, and Peter Criss, right? Those are the 4. Why do I know that? But
iconic.
I'm not mad. I think it's because of there's another show I love called The Venture Brothers, and there was a Halloween special where they were like one of the like it's like they would all go to a party together, but one of the people would dress up as Batman. When no matter like they would always try to do a group costume. So it was like one year they tried to do like the Wizard of Oz, and it was like Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Cowardly Lion, and Batman. And then it was like they did Kiss one year, and it's like and like they rattled off the names of Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Ace Frehley, and Batman. And it's like everybody gets mad at him for always wanting to be Batman. so like a lot of my experience with Kiss is like kind of stuff draped in irony like that, as opposed to like me sitting down and listening to Kiss.
Well, that's because they had a lot of hit records, but they didn't really make good music. I think, you know what I mean? Like I was sold on like, you know, the packaging and everything like that. I thought that like, you know, as a kid, you watch them, they're breathing fire, like dude's got blood coming out of his face. I thought like this is the heaviest metal ever, and it's like no, it's actually like this soft ass glam rock, and these dudes aren't very good, you know, musicians. So but like Gene Simmons said, there's nothing I won't sell or nothing I won't try. So
and that's the reason the iconography's lived, and then like the Kiss Army and everything. How could I forget about the Kiss Army? You know,
I wanted to be part of the Kiss Army so bad, my mom wouldn't let me. I think I had to like mail in like $10 to like some PO box in Oakland. She's like, no way. Yeah, she thought they were like devil worshippers or something.
Crazy. So you know, like as you get older, like when did when did rap first come into your life?
I used to live next door to this kid who was a couple grades older than me, and he was like he was a tennis prodigy, and he was sponsored by Fila. And
I know where this is going.
This is so wild, man. Like he had like, we went to Catholic school, so we had to wear a uniform. But like on weekends and at night, I would see him in like these crazy Fila sweatsuits all the time, headband. Like it was kind of like a Wes Anderson family. Like the dad was like super buff and like drove like this like little Mercedes 2-door with the like convertible. But we didn't live in like an affluent neighborhood. And their mom was like super hot. She was like younger, like a young mom, and like really pretty, like but like blonde hair, kind of pretty, and like I don't know, man. And they had these two boys that were tennis prodigies, and the kid that was closest to my age always dipped in Fila. And I just thought they were the coolest family in the world. And we hung out one time, and he had like a boombox. It's the 80s, so he's walking around with a boombox and was always playing like Run DMC. And you remember the Rappin' Duke? Yeah. So he put me onto that and like Fat Boys, and I think Houdini 5 Minutes of Funk was like the first record that really hit with me, and Run DMC's Rockbox. But I was like, where do you get all this music? And there was a radio station in Chicago, it went defunct in like the late 80s, called WBMX. And it credited for basically like they had a crew that would DJ Friday and Saturday nights called the Hot Mix 5. And they were big, they were like synonymous with like getting Chicago house music heard. And so people always would associate their radio shows as like house music. But it was one of the only two urban stations in Chicago. So you had to like listen to that station or WGCI to try to hear rap. And so in between like me having like, you know, my cassette deck ready, waiting for them to play Run DMC or Houdini or something, I would catch all this other stuff that they were playing. And I started getting into the mix shows. And it's weird, like, you know, a lot of people, like when I say like, oh yeah, I would tape the house shows, it's not like what I come to think of, like assuming people think of house music, where it's like oons and shit like that. Like this was the 80s, and I was listening to Farley Jackmaster Funk, and he was scratching doubles on vinyl. But these house shows, they were playing James Brown, they were playing The Clash, Magnificent Seven. I learned about like the B-52s on this stuff. So and then yeah, invariably they would play like a popular rap song here or there. But those were like the most like formative years, and like taping like those mixes, and like again going to like a record store and trying to figure out like, hey, what song is this? Like I'm trying to find this record, like hunting backwards, kind of like the Kurosawa did once I saw Seven Samurai. Like it made me do my own research into it a little bit more. And that led to me like finally like saving up money to like buy records and start my record collection.
How big is your record collection? Do you still have like some of those old records you were buying back then?
I have a lot of them. Early 2000s, when Serato first hit, I sold most of my collection and fucking made a mint, man.
I'm sure you did. Yeah.
I was selling all of my rap, like hip hop records, to Dusty Groove in Chicago. And I would sell like my Chicago like house and disco records to like A1 and Sound Library here in New York. Yeah, my crates were like super deep. They're not like that anymore. I still buy vinyl, but mostly just to sample with. That makes sense. Like I don't keep, yeah. I've got like, I probably kept like 8 crates from like my original collection of like records that like, you know, I remember buying this in like 1985. Like, I don't know if you know the Man Parrish record, Boogie Down Bronx. Like that 12-inch is probably one of my favorite songs of all time. And like, I still have my original from like 84, 85.
Man, I see. I don't. That's incredible. First off, I don't know the song. I've heard of the song, but I've never heard the song. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it's so yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I think that this real sentimental pieces I held on to, but there was a lot of like a lot of things that have just like, yeah, I parted with, and I thought like, oh, I'm gonna regret this. I'm gonna regret this, and I thankfully I haven't regretted it, especially when it comes time to like move. You know,
yeah,
I was the dude like I would call you to move, and you would help me one time, and you'd be like, never again, because I had so many fucking records.
yeah, no, like it's like I always think of this one interview Madlib did where like somebody asked him how many records he has. He's like, I don't even number him anymore. I weigh it like he said he said I don't count them anymore. I classify them by weight. And he was like, I have 4 tons of records. Like that he was like, I have 4 tons of records. He was like, 4 tons, like yeah, you know, like I don't know anybody with that many records, but like it's I don't know, like as a fairly avid record collector myself, I have 2 milk crates and a whole big specialty vinyl crate full of them in front of me right now.
Okay.
But yeah, like it's I think it's always good to hold on to the sentimental stuff and just like, you know, like obviously you don't need to have everything, but there's gonna be those like maybe 10 or 20 that
Yeah.
are just like,
Yeah,
this is mine.
it's funny because like some of those like when I go through those crates and I see the sticker, I get like the feeling sometimes of like I remember like when I pulled it off the rack or off the wall. I remember where I was when I purchased it, and there's a few records that still do that for me, so I can't part with those.
Of course not. Which ones are those before we move on?
The Man Parish Boogie Down Bronx.
Yep.
Like, I see that label. It still does that for me. There was another like a I don't want to call it a house, but there was a dance record that came out in Chicago by a guy named Jesse Saunders, who's credited as being like one of the first like house producers. He had a song called Funk You Up, and there's a girl that comes on and raps on there, and I think that's the first time I ever heard a record from Chicago with somebody rapping on it. And I remember hearing it the first time I recorded a WBMX mix and like had to track it down. Like, what is this song? And dude pointed on the wall, and I went and got it. And like, yeah, so that record still like gives me chills just like seeing it. I'm like, fuck yeah.
That's different, man. Yeah, like that's like that feeling could never be replicated, but you just have it. It's in there, you know. Oh man, like even just hearing about it, like that's so special.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, like I think we all have, even if it's not music or film or whatever, like everybody's got something that will make them feel like that. It's like that, like that's that feeling we're all chasing at all times. As at least is what I'm chasing at all times. So like as you get older and you know, like you develop your tastes and you just get older and mature. When did you know music was going to become more than just a hobby for you? Like when did you know it was like time to make it and like really insert yourself in this lineage?
Probably around like 18 or 19 when you know, or a little before that, even high school, like thinking about like my mom was like really big on me going to college and everything, and I'm like, you know, I don't want to be a lawyer. I don't want to study anything. And I like went out of my way to find like audio engineering schools and things like that. And which is funny, I actually went to Columbia in Chicago. It's a big art school for sound engineering.
Yeah.
And after like a semester or two, I dropped all my sound engineering classes and started studying like fiction writing. And I have like the most useless college degree ever. I have a bachelor's of art in fiction writing.
Wow.
But I thought at the time, like, this is what I want to do. I want to learn. I want to be in the studio. I want to be making these records that I'm listening to all the time. I want to figure this out and understand how this is made. And I thought like going to college for it was a good idea. But then I was in a classroom, like, I'm not learning any of this shit. But outside of school, I'm meeting like-minded kids that are like, oh, yo, I got this drum machine. Check this out. Or here's we're going to sample these records. You want to go digging with us? We're trying to find this record because it has this break. And so, Yeah. But it was around, it was like 18 or 19 when I was really like, yeah, I want to do this. But I didn't start like really producing until probably like my late 20s. It was mostly just DJing and like wanting to be really good at like scratching and doing DJ battles and throwing parties and things like that. And I had a music partner. I don't know if you're familiar with Doc West. We used to do Single
I do
Minded.
know Doc West, yeah.
Yeah. He bought our first sampler and we were roommates, and like he taught me how to use that. And then I was like, okay, maybe DJing isn't as important to me as actually making these records. That said, I have a much lengthier career. People probably know me more as a DJ. So I did a lot of shit, and I threw a lot of parties, was promoting a lot. And there was a like 10-year stretch where I was DJing like 3-4 nights a week, Chicago, New York, all over. I was a resident DJ on like 3 seasons of Jenny Jones. But yeah, I didn't start really getting into the beats and taking that super serious until like I think 2000, 2001. I did a 12-inch with Juice back then called Dumb Hot. That was the first thing I put out. And I did it all DIY. I paid for everything. I pressed it all up, was selling it out of my living room to fucking Fat Beats. And yeah, then it was like, yeah, this is what I want to do.
Wow. I mean, like, it's I mean, like you had already been around. You'd already been around music at this point, and we're like commiserating with people. And for it to take you going through putting out your first 12-inch to be like, I want to do, like, I mean, like that's like the ultimate test. Like if you can survive putting out a vinyl, you can survive pretty much anything. And it's like people don't understand how difficult of a process. Like you gotta really love it and have patience. And like, yeah, you gotta really want it to do that. So
I will say it was a little easier then because it was still like a widely regarded format where
right.
I remember there was like weeks in a row where I would get purchase orders emailed to me for 500 units, like every week, like boom, boom, boom. We're like now we're pressing up 500 total.
Right. So. Right. And yeah, and then like you're like selling them like like I imagine you're selling them for like a little more than you might have been if you were pressing up like 500 per week.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And those are 12 inches. Like with that, you got like 2 songs, you know what I mean? And some instrumentals, like Upper Space, the whole album, like we pressed up like 500 total.
Man. Yeah, it's funny because I'm thinking about it now. Yeah, Alex had actually sent me quite a few of your 12 inches. I have the Wiki one, I have the blue one, and there's another one that I'm blanking on.
Oh, those are 7 inches. The 7 inches.
7 inches. My fault. That's what I meant. Yeah, that's what I meant. But yeah. So you sent me the Wiki one, a blue one, and I forget the other one. But I have like 3 of them. They're in. I can't go dig for them because I'm not gonna find them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's even just that, like even just like having that is I don't know. Like, I mean, like, I don't need to tell you about the virtues of physical media, but like, yeah, like that shit's just like, that's special. It's special being able to hold that type of like creativity and passion in your hand and just be like, man, like, I did that. Yeah. Like
I had one of those moments when I first got Upper Space and we did an in-store in Chicago at Miyagi Records. That's Maker owns Miyagi Records. And when they opened the box and handed me it for the first time, I'm like, oh shit, like we're about to do this in store. I know somebody's gonna ask me to sign this. Like, this is too pretty to sign. I'm not doing it. And so this is a true story. Every person that's asked me to sign the record cover, like I've refused. I'm like, I'm not signing. Like I will open it. I'll sign like the insert, the white sleeve, but like I'm not signing the cover. It's too pretty.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it is a gorgeous cover. Like really, like nice deep purples and grays, like very like techno dystopian stuff. Like I love like it's a vibe. Like even just looking at it on DSPs is just it's very eye catching. But like not in like it's not like super busy or super vibrant, or like there isn't like a ton going on in it, but like the image is just, it's just kind of like, it's paralyzing is the wrong word, but it's very like, what is this? You know, like it's like weird looking in a cool way.
Yo, it was a collage that I found at a Renegade art fair in Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like sifting through some art, like drinking some coffee, and like, wait, what the fuck is this? And so I got the woman who made its card and was like, I've stayed in touch with her, like, hey, like this thing has just been like, I don't want to say haunting me, but it's been stuck with me for all this time. Like, this is a focal point that I want to make music around.
Man, so I wanna come back to that, because obviously, you know, like we're here to talk about upper space. But before we do that, you know, like you've been talking, you know, you talked a bit about your beginnings and kind of putting these 12 inches together at first and really realizing like, hey, this is what I want to do. And you know, like you spent some years DJing, you spent some years producing, and then you stopped for a long time.
Yeah.
Like at least a decade. I don't remember the exact. You stopped for quite a long time.
Twice.
So
I've done that twice.
yeah, right. So why?
When I did the single-minded prose stuff, that album came out in like 2004, and I wasn't ready to be doing all of that, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to explain. I was going through like a lot of shit personally. I was really resentful of the label for a lot of stuff that some rightfully so. A lot of it was just my own immaturity. But at the time I had this whole thing like, I'm getting jerked. And I just, I don't know, man. Like I was always a big believer in like, you shouldn't DJ until like you're good enough to come outside. Like don't practice in the club in front of people. And admittedly, I think like a lot of that music, I didn't take my own advice. Some of those beats were like the very first things that I made. And just like, okay, cool, it's done. Like, but a lot of it, I mean, sure, it's like 20 years later, a lot of it, like, I can't listen to anymore. I'm like, I wish this didn't come out. And so I think there was a lot of conflict with that. I wasn't ready business-wise. Like, my mentality wasn't there. I'm a late bloomer, I'll admit it. Production-wise, I wasn't really there. And I was just, like, disgruntled. And shortly after that, I made a beat that I thought was, like, at the time, I'm like, yo, this is the best beat I've ever made. And I would play it for friends, and they'd be like, where are the drums? And so there's drums in there, but I felt like I just made it such an organic piece that like it wasn't so over the top that I added, you know, a break to it. But like there's drums in there and it's moving. But I kept hearing that over and over and over. And I just got like really discouraged and just like put it away. And I'd stopped making music. I had a lot of friends in my ear, like Jay Zone was a good friend of mine. He's always like,
shout out.
Yeah, it's my guy. We just texting with him earlier today. But he's like, yo, why aren't you making music anymore? And I tried to load up this beat that I just told you about. And it was like in an old MPC 3000 on like a zip disk. And so like I had to get like a safety pin in to play with the disc to get it to load. And we couldn't get it. And then like I remember like it wouldn't work. So I'm like, it's not meant to be. And then we tried like another time. And I took the cover off my MPC and my cat had scratched the pads off of it. So yo, it's definitely not meant to be. Anyway, I was just focused on DJing and I was throwing parties. I did a series of parties for like 5 years in Chicago called The Goodness, where I would bring my favorite producers, DJs, turntablists to Chicago. You could see them in a very intimate setting for like $10. And we did this monthly. It was all self-funded. I turned down all sponsorships. I just wanted it all to be like this homegrown Chicago thing. I bring Alchemist out every year. I'd bring Edon. Freddie Fox came and DJ'd with me.
Wow.
People Under the Stairs came and did a DJ set. It was really, really, really dope. And then on the 5-year anniversary of it, I just decided like, all right, we had a great run, like poof, it's gone. And I wasn't sure what I wanted to do next, but I needed another project. And at the time, I was training for the Chicago Marathon,
Right.
which I'd run a couple times, but this time I was not very inspired. And I remember being out for a run. I was supposed to do like 16 miles this one day. And I kept hearing that beat that everybody said had no drums in it. And I'm like, you know, if this came out right now with Rock Marciano, it'd be a wrap. And I know Rock. I just DJ'd for him at a show in Chicago. And it was like, fuck this, man. Like I stopped running. I walked home, found that zip disk, got it loaded up in the drum machine, even though the pads were all fucked up, saved it properly. And I sent it to Rock and he's like, yo, let's do it. And so that's a song on my last album called Triple Black Benz.
Yeah.
And yeah, then that like I talked to Alex about Alex had been in my ear for a long time. Like, I really want you to start making music again. Maybe you work with CS. And I was a little resistant, but then when I got Rock on board, it's like I needed a studio. And they're like, well, here, use our studio, see what happens, and we'll just go from there. So I ended up recording 2 songs with Rock. I did a Euro Droog song right around then too, an edited song. All those were done in studio with people. These weren't like email transactions. And yeah, I started getting the itch again. And so through that, you know, then I met West Side Gun and Conway. We did that album. And right around the time that was supposed to come out, I sort of moonwalked into like an interior design career. And started making like really like crazy money and was like, okay, cool. I got this album. I made it. It's done. And I got like kind of shut myself off from like any like tour opportunities or DJ gig kind of things. It's just like, okay, I made it. That's good enough. And I got health insurance now. And, you know, I'm living in New York like comfortably, which I lived in New York a few times before and it was never comfortable. But like now I'm good, you know. Different. But then that wore off like really quickly. I was like, I wanted to make more music. And so it wasn't too long after that, Static Selector invited me up to his radio show. And it was the night that Griselda was announcing that they'd done this distribution deal with Shady Records.
Shady, yep, I remember.
And I showed up to see Gunn. I hadn't seen him in like a couple years. And when I got there early. Prodigy was in the studio and he was all by himself. And Prodigy is my favorite MC of all time. And we know each other a little bit. We've done shows together. I did like a lot of the street promo and release parties for Return of the Mac, the HNIC 2, the Product of the 80s record. And then after he came home, I think I did one of the first Prodigy Alchemist shows. Like I brought them to Chicago. Me and my partners sang. But we'd never done like proper music. And I wanted him on Wonderful, but I didn't make it happen for whatever reason. And so when I saw him that night, like I walked right up to him, sat down, and Static was playing a bunch of my songs and cutting them up. And P's like, yo, what's that? I'm like, yo, that's me and Conway. He's like, oh, word? He's like, he drops another one. What's that? Oh, that's me and Rock. He's like, you did these? So I tell him like, yo, man, like I'm ready to do another album. I need you on this. And he's like, yo, I got you. And he was living in Williamsburg at the time, which bugged me out. I was living in Williamsburg. Static was living in Williamsburg. So I was like, man, we could record Statics. So anyway, they were all going out later that night. And I went home. I was geeked. I'm like, I'm going to go make a Prodigy beat. You know, like I really I got to come up with something.
Of course, yeah.
And I'd already been making Prodigy beats for years, like just Mobb Deep in mind. And I went through all of them, like, yo, none of this is like important to me. Like, I got to do something new. And I made something fresh that I loved right away, which usually isn't the way with me. Like, I work really slow. I'm very meticulous. It takes me a long time to come around on things. And I fell in love with this thing right away. But then that made me nervous. So I started overanalyzing it. I'm like, swapping drums, changing drums, putting in different sounds. And I spent 2 months doing that. I probably made like 20 alternate versions of this beat and was just driving myself crazy. And it had been 2 months since I talked to P. And anyway, one day I was on the train on my way to a meeting for my day job, and a friend in Chicago texts me and he's like, yo, rest in peace, Prodigy. I'm like, oh, what? And so I put everything on ice, man, because I was like, I don't think I can do another compilation record like I've been doing all this time when I had my favorite, like there's nobody above Prodigy in terms of you ask me who I'd want to work with. There's nobody. He was it. And he agreed to do it. And I got in my own way and prevented it from happening. Like I should have just gotten in the studio that week with that beat and just fucking done it. And I hate that I didn't do that. And it took me a couple years to like warm back up to like wanting to make another record again. But that was sort of the pause in between Wonderful and Upper Space. But that beat that I'd made for Prodigy and mine is the one that I ended up using for Stove God. And it's the original version of it. So like that's what I would have given to P, and I should have, you know. And it's not to say that I'm not thankful that I got the Stove God record, but yeah, it's like, yeah. So that was kind of I was like, why bother if I can't have P, you know?
No, I get it, but like, re-listening to Upper Space earlier today, like, yeah, that Stove God record does sound like it was like that sounds like it would fit perfectly on like HNIC in particular. Like that really does sound like a HNIC era, Prodigy beat. And like
Stove is like the first person that I've heard that I thought made sense on it since. That makes sense. Like there's a lot of people that could rap to it, but like it was just so perfect for him, I thought.
Yeah. And like, and you know, like you
I'm sorry, real quick. Is it
no.
dark in here? Do you need me to turn the light on?
You can if you want. Like this is all audio only, so it's up to you.
Right.
Like yeah, no, like it depends on like, you know, like do what you need to do. But
yeah. All right, cool. No.
So you know, like the thing I've been stuck on since you kind of walked me through this these moments in your life is like, you know, like as a DJ, one of the most important things you need to be is tapped in. Like that's just like what it means to like be somebody who spins records for people at parties, you know. But like you know, like one thing I've noticed about you is that you know, like especially if you keep like Wonderful in mind, like you were an early adopter of a lot of people who are like icons of our scene now. Like, you know, like you were you know, like you were with Rock before like his second wave happened. You were you were with Gun like and Griselda right after Fly God happened. You know, like
before.
Yeah, you know, even before, you know, like
he played me Fly God on like a little boombox in like this little townhouse he had in Atlanta, drinking bottles of like Kirkland water from.
that's what I'm saying, man. You know, like it's you know, like you go back and you look at the track list. It's like Conway, Droog, Marcy, Gun, Shirts on here, X-Wires on here, Jeremiah J. You know, it's like all these names who weren't like they obviously had motion, but like this was right before they exploded.
Yeah.
You know, and then I look at Upper Space and I see that mentality just pressed into a slightly newer generation. Like you got Stove God on here, you know, speaking of Marcy and Griselda. You got Valet and Sifu and Neff, who of course, you know, like you and Neff made a whole project together. Like Green Slime, you know, like Chicago's finest, Green Slime on here. Jeremiah again, you know, like there's that's one thing, like listening to these three projects, like that's one thing I've always appreciated is that like you really have like, you know, like your ear is down to the street. Like, you know what's going on, and like not just what's going on, but you know who to pick and how, and like who needs to go where and what to give them. Like, you know, like with you know, like considering Wonderful and Upper Space in particular, like when you make compilation albums like this, how do you go, like, yeah, just like how do you go about making a compilation album, because it's an art, you know, to like bringing all these different people into your world. Like, are you making like a dozen beats and like stashing them away a dozen at a time and going back and picking, or is it all like made fresh? Like, yeah.
Well, yeah, no, so everybody that I work with is somebody that I listen to and I'm a fan of. Like, none of it was like, oh, we should get Stove God because he's hot right now and that'll sell.
Right.
It's like, no, Stove actually fits this beat, and I don't hear a lot of other people doing it. Everybody else, like, I made one beat for all of them. Like, except Rock. I sent Rock a different beat and originally, and he was like, yeah, this is too tricky to write to. And I'm glad, and in the end, I'm glad that we didn't use that. I love what we came up with. And actually the same thing happened with Green Slime. I sent him one other beat and he was like, no, this is too tricky to rap to. This is just like weird formatting. But no, pretty much everything was made like, this is who I listen to. And if I'm doing a record with that guy, this is what the beat would sound like. Like, I'm a huge Valet fan, but I've never heard him like rap over like drum. I like beat drum, you know, like it's always like 808s and things like that. And I don't make those beats. Like I love them, that's fine, but it's just not what I do. So like this was my interpretation of like, if I'm working with Valet, this is what it will sound like. So everything I feel like was like kind of custom made with all of these guys in mind. I didn't make like 20 beats and like pare it down for like the total project. Like there's 9 songs on the album. I probably made like 12 beats for the whole thing.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy to think about, because it's been, because I mean, it's been, why am I blanking right now? It's been 8 years since Wonderful, just about. Yeah. And like, obviously this is your first like compilation project since then. So like, why was now the time to come back and make another compilation? Like, and then you're like having that happen very soon after the Neff project, which kind of, you know, like put you in front of a bunch of other a bunch of other people.
Yeah. It was actually supposed to be the other way around. Upper Space was supposed to be last summer. And Rock and I were supposed to get in the studio last summer to do our track. And that's when he had signed, like that weekend, he signed that distribution deal with like Rock Nation.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to go to the studio like that day. And he hit me like, yo, we can't do this. It's going to be a long time before I can, you might as well just move on without me. And I was like, yeah, there's no chance I'm doing that. Like, I have to have you on this project. Like, there's no way I'm doing another album without a Rock Marciano track on it.
Right.
He's like, okay, well, it's going to take some time. So, like, I'll be here. I'll wait. So, yeah, we had to pivot. So the Neff, I know his manager from Chicago, and I sent him the beat to do Make It Hot for Upper Space. And he sent me that back, and I was just like, yo, this is incredible. And his manager's like, yo, he really likes your beats, man. Why don't you do a whole project with him? So I'm like, beautiful. Yeah, let's do it. So I'm lucky. I'm really fortunate that they asked me that and that I had that opportunity. But as far as like the compilation, the idea behind it was, or what made me want to come back to it, is just, I just really wanted to work with all of those artists. And I don't really make enough beats to do like whole projects with all of them, like, you know, or the budget to do all of that. But I just, I really wanted a Valet record. I really wanted a Pink Sifu record. Jeremiah J is one of my favorite artists in the world. I really want to work with him again. The Why Not Do Sable is that's a bucket list item. Like, that's Why Not from Resurrection. And most people haven't heard him since then. And he is my favorite MC of all time from Chicago. And to get him to get on board with my record and to reemerge as Why Not off of my shit, that's like the biggest, that's the biggest win for me of everything. Everybody like you know, it's everybody wants to talk about the Stove God and the Valet and rock, but like that's like the personal one. Like that's just such a huge victory to me. Like bucket list items, I've got a record with Cool G Rap from years ago. I got a record with Cool Keith. I got a fucking Why Not record in 2024, and we're dropping a video for that one next week too, by the way.
God, crazy.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, how did that record happen? Like, how did you make that happen?
He's one of my closest friends in the world, and he loves the stuff that I do, but he's just like, you know, like hardcore to me is ultramagnetic MCs. Like the guns and drug shit, like it's cool when it's done creatively, but that's not what I want to rap about. That's not what I want to listen to. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. And ultramagnetic is probably neck and neck with Mobb Deep, is like my favorite group of all time. And anyway, I was like, you know, you wouldn't have to rap like about that kind of stuff. And like, you know, you do you. There's a lane for Why Not in 2024, man, you know? And what it was, we had some back and forth. He's just kind of like dismissive about it. But years ago, I had tried to remake one of my favorite ultramagnetic MC songs, Ain't It Good to You, off of Critical Beatdown.
Yeah.
And I still had all of the parts on an old zip disk and an MPC 3000. And when we got off the phone that night, I loaded them up, put them in the computer, modernized it a little bit, and just sent it to him. Like, dude, come on, this is perfect for what we're talking about. And like 2 months later, I was in Cincinnati, Ohio for the Reds opening day. And he texted me like, yo, what are you doing right now? And I was like at a bar or something. He's like, yo, go to your hotel and call me. I'm like, all right. So I go to my hotel, I call him like, yo, you okay? What's up? And he kicks me these verses. And I'm just like over the beat. I'm like, what? Are we really fucking doing this? And yeah, like 2 weeks later, I went to Chicago and we recorded it. And now like we're working on like Why Not stuff again. And that means the fucking world to me, man. Like, yeah, like how I told you, like Prodigy is my favorite rapper. Why Not is my favorite Chicago MC all time. Like, and I've worked with a lot of my favorite Chicago rappers. But this is it, man. Like, I'm so fucking geeked about this.
Yeah. Like, and like, I can tell because like that beat is really like, it's kind of like vapory, but also like there's a lot of weight to it. It's like really, it's a strange and it's one of the strangest and weirdest songs on the whole album. and it's crazy because it follows my favorite song on the whole project, the Green Slime one, Crack Kills.
Word.
Is my favorite song on this whole thing.
Oh.
But like I think those two, you know, like it's cool to me that those two are right next to each other, considering that, you know, like Why Not and Green Slime are both from Chicago. Like this is like, it's kind of got that it's got that feeling to it where it's just like, here's the new generation, here's the old generation.
Yeah,
boom.
yeah.
You know, it's like right next to each other like that. And like those two, like if I had to pick two records that kind of sum up the ethos of the album, I would pick one of them two, or like maybe Elegant with Rock. You know, like I feel like I feel like those three kind of sum up the general feeling of the album. So it's just cool to hear that I didn't realize y'all two were close. Yeah. I didn't realize how important.
Oh, I've been working on this for years, man.
Man, you know, like it's like, you know, like that type of shit is just like, you know, like that whole like, hey, we should do this. Like, I love you. Come make some music with me. Is like, or you know, or like even in my case, there've been a handful of people who I've known that like who didn't want to necessarily do interviews, and I had to be like, is it time yet? Is it time yet?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like just kind of like on like a mutual respect tip, and they just are eventually like, you know what? All right, let's do it. I'm ready. Like that's like that's one of the most gratifying that's one of the most gratifying feelings you can have, like as a creative person.
Well,
like especially in rap, you know, like
well, also too, like it's funny. Like I was listening to like the Dad Bod Rap Pod. They did like a retrospect of like Resurrection, and they were like, "Whatever happened to this Why Not guy? He was like the homie that was supposed to blow up, and then nothing ever happened." And the crazy part to me is, you mentioned Green Slime. He and Why Not were exchanging messages like a couple weeks ago, like, "Yo, you got the hardest joint on Rude's record," and like vice versa. And Slime didn't know that Why Not is the Twilight Tone producer, like legendary DJ from Chicago. And
exactly,
so
yeah.
when I heard the Dad Bod Rap Pod say like, "Whatever happened to that guy? He just disappeared." So while I've been working on trying to get him to rap as Why Not again, this dude's producing like albums for the Gorillaz and working with Kanye and, you know, touring with Common and shit. So like,
yeah,
it's not, yeah. So there was a lot on his plate as well, you know, getting nominated for Grammys and shit. And I'm like, hey, come be this alter ego again, you know?
yeah, nah, like it's
and a lot of people don't. I always assumed everybody knew that, like, and a lot of people like, they like, wait, what? Like they're the same dude? Like, yeah. So
see, I'm not gonna front. I didn't know they were the same dude, but of course I'm very familiar with Twilight Tone even before the Gorillaz album. Like, yeah, Twilight Tone's a fucking legend. So it's but you know, like that just but like the fact that you knew and people didn't, and you worked so hard to make it happen, is just a testament to what you do and how much you love this shit. And that comes through, like that just comes through in the way you create. Like just that, like one thing that made me laugh, kind of going through, or like not laugh, but at least just kind of be like, huh, that's interesting, is I had a homie review you and Neff's album for Pitchfork, my man Dash.
okay.
And you know, like I saw you share the review when it went out, and you were just like, neo boom bap. And that made me laugh, because I know to a lot of people, I mean, and like also shout out to Dash. I love you. Dash is amazing. He's such a great writer.
I've never met him, but shout out to him.
He's the bomb. You'd love him. But like he I know a lot of people feel ways about the term boom bap. Now, like it's kind of like, because me listening to your stuff, like I hear boom bap in it, but it's a little more left of center than that, you know. Like it's like there's just I don't know how to describe it. There's just something very like, wonky is not the right word, but it's like very experimental, and like you're clearly playing around with sounds, and it's like, you know, like I hear it on the Neff album, I hear it on Wonderful, and I especially hear it on Upper Space. And I can't remember, are all of these projects completely sample based, or is like,
oh yeah, absolutely,
okay, yeah. That's so like, that's like shout out to you for still constructing albums that are entirely sample based, because I feel like people get weird about sampling, because there's just the idea of like, oh, you're just taking the essence of the song and you're not really creating nothing, you're just coasting on, and it's just like, people don't understand the shit, and it pisses me off sometimes. But you know, like, you listen to something like Upper Space, and it's just like, how can you look at sampling as anything other than creating shit from old parts? Like, I guarantee you, if you played me any of the songs that you sampled on this album, they wouldn't sound nothing like the shit that you made, you know? So like, I mean, like, before we get a little closer to wrapping this up, like, what was the process like putting the beats together for this project? You know?
Yeah, nothing new actually. I don't know if that's good or bad. Like, I'm still doing the same thing I was doing 20 years ago. Just sampling vinyl, putting it into an MPC, chopping it however my brain tells me to, and my process hasn't deviated at all, man, since like the first started making records.
That's great. Like, like I'm honestly really happy to hear that, considering that, like, you know, like you've been around for a good minute. You've seen a lot. You've collaborated with a lot of people. You've made so much crazy music and had so many crazy experiences, and you're still here and on the crest of like a second or third wave, a second or third creative wave. You know, like like most people, like we were kind of talking about this earlier. Most people can't even handle like one creative arc, let alone two or three creative arcs. You
Mhm.
know, so like like that, like that sense of longevity is something I think about a lot, because I feel like this era of independent hip hop we've been in for the last like 10, 15 years has been a time for a lot of people who may not have been able to find their spot early on, have found a more receptive audience and just like more opportunities to just do their shit on their own terms. And I think like I think you've really been able to do that with all the stuff you've put out through closed sessions.
Mhm.
But just like as somebody who's been a part of so much and given so much to this culture, like what do you think is the key to sustaining longevity as an independent artist? Like especially like we live in an environment where like time is the time and attention are the most valuable commodities you can
Yeah.
have. So like what do you think is the key to sustaining that longevity and just like finding your place after all these years?
Um, I just really love doing it. And I do it I do it for me. Like I said, none of these songs were made like, oh, this guy's hot, let's put this out or anything like
Right.
that. And I feel like people that maybe adopt that ethos, like it's going to attract certain people, I feel like.
Yeah.
I just I really just put my head down and make what I want to make. And what comes of it, thankfully, has been like really good. But I told someone else not too long ago, like with Upper Space, like um, we were talking about like marketing strategies and things like that. And I'm like, sure, there's things I want to come of this. Like I want great reviews. I want everybody to love it. I want to, repress vinyl. But at the end of the day, like I fucking made it, man.
Yeah.
Like that's it lives in my headphones, man. Like I remember the first day I got it back and like approved it, like the mastering, and was just walking around on a Sunday night listening to it in my headphones. And like I felt so fucking good just in that. Like nobody'd heard it yet. Nobody'd seen any of the artwork. It lived in my headphones, and that was just good enough for me. And that feeling is one that I need to recapture more often. So that is going to keep me going forward. Like
That's
that,
incredible.
that
Sorry.
like, no, it's okay. It's all right. I actually, I told somebody recently too, like this album made me fall back in love with myself. Like I feel
Mhm.
so good about what I fucking made. Um, yeah, like I'm not trying to be a dick or anything like that, but I fucking love this record. And um I can do this again. And I want to. And like I said, I want that feeling again, like walking down the street by myself in my headphones, like, holy shit, I did this. Like, yeah. That's something that yeah, I need to feel again. And yeah, it's gonna keep me going.
Yeah,
I'm already back to work. So yeah. Yeah.
man. And you
Will
like
not be 10 years before I come back out.
good, man. I'm happy to hear that. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, like even just you talking about just like making your bones and interior designing and like all the other stuff you do, like, like you've kind of you're in a position where like like sure you're making money off it, but like it really is just like I love this. Like this is what feeds me. Like
Yes.
not even just like creatively, but just it feeds your soul. And like having that outlet is so important. Like obviously money and sustainability and being able to take care of you and yours is extremely important, but so is like being fulfilled. And like most people don't get the opportunity to do both of those things.
Yeah.
And you have both of those things and are doing them and you know, like just like consider it like once again, like you know, like not to gas it, like this project is great. You know, like it like it's really like, especially as it's getting colder, like I'm sitting in front of a window that's like kind of open and it's brick in here. But like, yo, like like I can't wait to sit with this more as it gets cold because this shit sounds cold, you
Yeah.
know, and like
Yeah.
you know, I could tell you put your all into it. It's like not even a half hour and it really feels like an experience.
Man,
So it's
thank you. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I want.
yeah.
I want to hear that. And so like I want to do this again. And yeah.
Yeah, man. Like yeah, no, I can feel it in my bones. So that's the good shit. But like, man, like what a great conversation this has been.
Yeah.
But to bring this full circle, Rude One, if your life was a movie, what would it be about?
A guy that spends a lot of time by himself. um yeah, yeah. And the choices that come with that and the curiosities that come with that, I guess. Yeah. I don't know why the machinist just flashed in my head. It's not that dire. It's not that dire.
I was about to say, man, no, don't yeah, no, don't say that.
No, but yeah, it would definitely be it would it would definitely be like the inside of my head and me and like a guy who spends a lot of time by himself internalizing.
Right. Yeah, man. If you can if you like if you can't be by yourself, like how can you be with anybody else? Type shit.
Yeah, yeah. Man, yeah, yeah. Every Sunday night I do sensory deprivation. Like I float in like a soundproof water tank and
Yeah.
for like 2 to 3 hours, and I do like Herculean doses of mushrooms while doing so. Uh, yeah, no, I really like getting into like my own head and seeing what's what.
Wow. What man, now I'm curious. What happened last time you did that? What did you discover
A
about
lot of
yourself?
gratitude.
Mhm.
I My last float was 2 weeks ago, right after I got back from Chicago doing the closed sessions 15-year anniversary party.
Yeah.
And I DJ'd with Muggs and Green Slime performed, Def C, Solar 5, and new closed sessions artist Rico Shy. And shout out to all those dudes. And Crime Apple was there, and Mayhem Loren as well. But it was kind of coming off of like a 10-day high of like my release parties, little press runs that I did, and just like the insane amount of love that I got for this project. And the night that I told you, like I was listening in my headphones for the first time to it mastered and was like, holy fuck, I did this. I was on my way to the flotation spot.
Mm.
And yeah, it was just kind of like a full circle moment, man. And it was like I spent like 2 hours in there just like so fucking thankful that I'm here and I'm doing this and that I'm talking to people like you and I'm making records with Why Not. And I got my third record with Rock Marciano out. And yeah, just stupid fucking happy, man.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like like once again, like in the research I did and just hearing you tell me all of this and just kind of like just do like a quick little power walk through your life and your career. It's just like, how can you not be grateful for all the stuff that like how can you not be grateful to have had it all just come back to this little kid who was fascinated with the Felines and Run DMC?
Yo,
Like it's just like
it,
there.
that's the best part, man. Like I told you, my process hasn't really evolved, and my life really like. I was 13 years old. I was obsessed with rap music, the Cincinnati Reds. I liked writing, and those are all the things I'm doing right now.
Right.
Like, Yeah, I still love all the same shit. I'm still a kid, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way in a lot of ways, and you know, like I hope that it like it makes it, you know, like it makes me happy to hear that that lasts, you know, like just as long as it lasts, you know, like as long as you feel it, because you know, I guess that's something you never really want to lose, especially as a creative. But man, like thank you.
Oh,
This was yeah, like I can't even. This was a great convo, you know, like just I don't even know what else to say. Just like thanks for the work, thanks for this great project that's like super dope, and just like yeah, you know, like as somebody else who goes to every specialty screening and spends whatever time they're not at home or with their partner at a movie theater,
mhm.
like yeah, just like as yeah, just like the real like I felt the connection in this one. So
My
thank
man.
you.
Yo, no, thank you, man. Seriously, for all the kind words, for your time, for having me, for doing what you do. Super appreciate, man. You're necessary. So
Thank you, man. No, that means a lot to like you're necessary, man. I'm just the I'm just the vessel all this shit travels through, and I'm just happy, like you. I'm just grateful and happy to be here, and like this is like these types of conversations really give me strength. So you know, it means a lot.
man, thank you. Man. You made my.
Thanks for listening. Shout out to y'all for making it this far. And shout out to all the black people listening too, because y'all really impeccable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to come through next time. 1.